Our Story Productions presents the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories from throughout Sweet Swine County with Bobby Ray and Sally Sue.
Thank you and welcome to another episode of the Cocklebur Morning Show. And who am I, you might ask?
Godfrey, he's my biggest fan.
I'm
so glad you're back.
I'm her second biggest fan. I think there are other people out there. Number one is Bobby Ray is her biggest fan, and I actually happen to be Bobby Ray's biggest fan. You know, he's pretty famous.
I know, and who told you that, though?
Well, he tells me that on a daily basis, but I really believe it. You know, it's hard to do this.
Excuse me, he told you that he was really famous?
Yes, he did tell me. And I have to believe it because he's on TV all the time, and that's why he hired me. You know, I'm his Man Friday to help do all of the stuff for him. And I want you to know, the reason I'm here is because he's been out doing these weekend adventures, and he's finding so much information outside of Sweet Swine County to talk about. I have to step in for him again today.
I see. I don't know how he finds all this time.
Well, he finds it because I schedule it in for him.
And then you take his place. Great.
Hey.
You know.
Don't tell him.
I'll try not to. Well, okay, why don't we look at one of his fabulous adventures then? Do you have one with you?
I have one.
You do? Oh,
so
good.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's another
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
And here's another great adventure Bobby Ray found for us. Do you want to hear about it?
I do.
This time it was in Zumbrota, Minnesota.
Oh.
And he wrote this to you, I want you to know.
Oh, did he?
Because it says right here, Sally Sue, I must tell you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That if your definition of recreation includes freeing your spirit, energizing your body, and stretching your mind, then Crossings Gallery and Gift Shop is the place for you. Located just 1 block off Main Street at 320 East Avenue in Zumbrota's historic Carnegie Building, Crossings is where you can see inspiring and unique art exhibits in its gallery space that include a fantastic mixture of gifts by local artisans. Some of which have been created right in Crossings' very own clay studio.
Really?
You will also even enjoy opportunities to learn everything from writing and painting to yoga and Spanish. If you stay into the evening, you will further be amazed by Crossings' regularly scheduled music concerts, performed by a wide variety of local and international artists who specialize in folk, classical, and jazz.
Ooh, that sounds like
Many
fun.
of these groups can be found only in big city venues and rarely in settings as intimate as that offered by Crossings. Whether you are artistically undernourished or simply seek to escape from the mundane world, Crossings is the perfect place to make wonderful discoveries. Take a peek at their artistic website at www.crossingsatcarnegie.com. for information about all their upcoming events. You'll be glad you did. And that's the end of another wonderful
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
Oh, that was so exciting, that report. Interesting. Oh.
He gets to go everywhere.
I know,
it's wonderful.
I'm so jealous. Well, anyway.
Yeah?
Today, we have the privilege of having a guest back. Someone is actually
the
coming
second
back.
time.
Yes, for
they
the
like you.
Yes, they're my fan. Anyway, we are going to welcome from southern Minnesota.
Right.
From the Smiles Center, Anne Murray.
Anne.
Oh, Anne, it is so good to see you again. Welcome back.
You've had the good fortune of already meeting her. So do you have all kinds of questions, or do you know everything?
I know everything, so why don't you start and
well,
ask
first,
her what you want to know.
I will ask everything, trust me. What exactly does Smiles Center do?
Well, we're a center for independent living, and what we do is we support people with disabilities to live independently. People want to live their own lives, you know, and not have other people tell them how it's going to be. So we help them find out what their choices are in the community and what kind of skills they might need to act on their choices. And you know, if you have choices in your life and skills to act on those choices, you have power in your life to do what you want.
Right.
And that's how we help people with disabilities get going in their life, start to do what they want, make the contribution that they need to in the community.
And by disabilities, does that cover a full range of disability from physical to, can you explain more about that?
It does. Well, we work with any kind of disability. We're not limited to just, you know, like one diagnosis or something.
Right.
And it's people who have mental health disabilities,
Right.
physical disabilities, intellectual disabilities, sensory, you know, maybe they don't have low vision or no vision, or they're hearing impaired. Some people have medical issues. Some people have a hard time getting around. There's all kinds of different disabilities.
Now, I'm sure that the financial part of this is a big component. How much does it cost, and where does the funding come from for your center?
That's a good question. We don't actually charge the people that we work with anything to get the skills or to get the information that we have for them. But we do, we apply for grants, for the competitive kinds of grants. We can have contracts. We are licensed to have contracts with the state of Minnesota to do different kinds of services. For example, to help people develop at-home skills or learn not job skills like being on the job, but getting ready to have a job. And how do you keep your job? Those kinds of skills. Learning how to drive.
Right. Now, someone who is challenged in some way, how do they find you? Is it referred via social workers, or can a challenged, in some way, shape, or form, a challenged person come to you on their own?
Absolutely, they can come on their own. We don't require any kind of referral, but we like it when social workers know about us because that's one way that people get information. We're on the World Wide Web. We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, we do.
And what is your website address?
www.smilescil, SMILESCIL.org. It stands for Smiles Center for Independent Living.org.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have locations in various communities in southern Minnesota.
We do. We're in Fairmont, we're in Waseca, we're in New Ulm, and we're in Mankato.
Before the show, you were telling us about your friends, your techie friends, Mike and Steve.
Mike is a person who comes to Smiles and participates in a lot of Smiles events and activities. He water skis, he snow skis, and he's very, very interested in online kinds of communications.
Right.
He doesn't have the use of sight. He has no workable sight.
And he does all those sports
He does
events?
all those sports because we can adapt them at Smiles. So he uses adaptive ski equipment to do these kinds of things.
I see.
Amazing.
It is. And he is an expert on weather. And so he has, in his computer, he has the weather station kinds of things going on, and then he logs it. And he uses software that transcribes it from the digital into spoken, so that instead of having to read it on screen, he can hear it. So he gets that information. He watches all the movies and all his TV shows using another kind of software that he has figured out how to, how to get and install and
so
use.
He's really like an inventor in a
He
way.
really is, because you can get what's called an audio narrator. So while your movie scene is starting to build and that background story is being shown to you, we're getting cues, on our movies about, the sun might be coming up, or there's a car speeding down the road. The narrator will tell him that even while the credits are rolling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do any of the people who take part in your programs end up in one way or another helping other new people who come into the program?
They really do. For example, Steve is a real inventor. And Steve has invented locks for his doors, and he uses certain kinds of lights for his house. He doesn't, he gets around his house and he lives on his own.
My.
And he has people come in and help him because his body doesn't work very well for him. He doesn't, his arms won't move very far and his legs don't move. So he uses a chair to get around, a power chair, and he uses his thumb to make his chair go back and forth and around his house. Well, you know, he could hire somebody if he wanted to come and lock the door for him at night.
Yes.
But he likes it better that he invented this remote control deadbolt system.
Oh, I so would want one of those.
It's just awesome.
And you probably need one. You have a lot of fans out there chasing around you.
And so he can lock his own house up at night.
Really?
And
This is
Amazing.
great. It's so incredible. What
Yeah.
useful information for us, the public, to know that these programs exist.
Well, thank you.
You know,
It's very helpful.
I'm thinking, Ann, you know, with all this information, have you ever considered being a reporter for the Cocklebur Morning Show? And keep us updated?
What a great idea.
Oh, don't you think that just
I
came?
like that idea.
Isn't that?
Oh, we could
That
talk
would
about-
work really well.
Yes.
Yes.
Keep us updated on Smiles and all the activities and the events. And, you know, it's amazing.
Maybe I could bring some of my friends along.
Oh, that would be
let's
wonderful.
plan on
NASCAR
it.
and hockey.
Oh, yes.
Bobby
Okay,
Ray
yes.
would love it. I'm
Would he?
speaking for him.
If he's ever here.
He's coming back.
But no, let's plan on that.
would
We could do
love
a
to.
series.
And with all of the people who work at Smiles, tell me more about the staff. Are they all trained in all facets of dealing with people who are challenged in any way with disabilities? Who's all on staff?
Who's all on staff? Well, we have a big staff.
Yeah.
And they are very, very talented and I think very well trained. They specialize in different groups. And we have specialists and we have trainers, and the trainers and the specialists work with people one-on-one to help them build their skills. The trainers go out and help people, you know, do their marketing. For example, if somebody is learning how to run their household and one of the things that they want to do is be able to cook supper for themselves, they might not know how to shop for those groceries. They might not know how to use the cookbook,
Okay.
you know. They maybe haven't prepared more than one dish at the same time so that supper all gets done at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they go in and help folks do that. And then the specialist can also help them decide what they want to be working on, and they can help, the specialist can help the trainers figure out just exactly how are we going to teach this.
And it was so great having you here today.
Thank
and
you.
I can't wait to see these upcoming reports that you're going to be doing for the show.
I know.
But thank you, all of you, our viewers, for watching another episode of the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories not only in Sweet Swine County, but far beyond.
Bye-bye.
Bye.